Hey, it's Joe here. In this video, I'll share my thoughts and experience of the LG CX OLED TV, bought at the end of 2020, then set up at the start of 2021 with the rest of my entertainment center. I'll be giving you an overview of OLED TVs and their main benefits over other types. We're then going to dive into the CX, exploring its key features. Finally, we'll wrap up with my thoughts on the LG C1, which is the 2021 successor to the CX. So firstly, OLED TVs. What are they and what are the benefits? If you know the answer to that question, skip to the next section, and if not, here's a brief overview. So whilst the majority of flat panel TVs we have use an LED backlight, which is then filtered through an LCD screen to give us different colours and the end result of the full picture we see, OLED TVs have a screen with a different type of LED that produces its own colour, meaning there's no need for separate LED and LCD layers, which is why OLED TVs are super thin. It also means that individual OLED pixels can turn off, giving you perfect black levels instead of this light bleed that can be noticed on non-OLED TVs. Another benefit of an OLED includes wider viewing angles, so the picture still looks great even if you aren't positioned directly in front of the TV. Speaking of OLED TVs, here's my 65-inch LG CX or C10, and the first thing you'll probably notice is the aesthetics. Wafer thin bezels, premium looking stand, and an ultra slim profile. Apart from the lower back where you've got this little bumper poking out, this is where all the connection ports are. So whether it's on or off, the CX is an absolute spice to look at, making a great statement on the stand but would equally look amazing wall mounted. The CX is a 4K TV, which in my opinion is optimal for current viewing needs. Most content you'll get through TV and streaming services will either be in standard definition, high definition, so 720 or 1080, or 4K, which has 4 times the pixels of a 1080 HD TV, giving you more definition and clarity. 8K TVs are a thing now, which takes the picture quality up another level. Well, it would, but there's a couple of things to consider. One is the lack of native 8K content to take advantage of an 8K TV. Most things will have to be upscaled to 8K. Another thing is the cost, as an 8K TV has to be big enough to fit all those extra pixels in. The bigger the TV, the more expensive it is. Finally, viewing distance is an important one to consider. There's a few websites that have a TV size calculator telling you the best size to go for depending on the TV resolution and how far you'll be sitting from the screen. I've used ones from artings.com and other websites knowing I'd be getting a 4K TV. If I went for an 8K TV, sitting at the same distance, I'd have to get a significantly larger panel to be able to see the difference in detail. Otherwise, it might as well just be a 4K. OLEDs aren't just about the perfect black levels and contrast ratios. Although these do greatly improve the picture, the processor inside the CX ensures the TV is able to use artificial intelligence to upscale content that isn't 4K, ensuring the picture still looks great even if the source material is of lower quality. HDR formats including HDR10, HLG, and Dolby Vision are supported, which change the TV settings to optimize the color output and ensure the colors are as true as possible. There's also a bunch of presets which you can change depending on the content you're watching to further optimize the viewing experience. Speaking of quality, for something so thin, the CX does give out some quality audio, featuring a number of options to tweak the experience and supporting the latest Dolby Atmos surround sound technology to give a richer sense of immersion. But for that true home cinema feel, you're better off adding the soundbar to your setup, as flat panel TVs are not made to belt out the bass, let's just be honest. I watch a large variety of content from standard def through high definition and up to native 4K. Anything from dark films, animated TV shows, nature documentaries, sports and news, and the TV makes everything look great. Although standard definition content can only look so good due to how much the picture has to be stretched, but it still does a decent job there. The Web 5.0 interface is slick and stylish, with this home bar that pops up on the bottom of your screen, letting you carry on watching whatever you're watching while sifting through it. There's also this home dashboard where you can see all of your connections, including smart devices. There's a good selection of popular streaming apps, aside from the 4OD service in the UK, which is a strange one. But the menus are clean and simple to navigate, and especially with the Magic Remote that lets you use it as a mouse pointer on the TV alongside the kind of regular remote things that remotes do. On to gaming now, and the HDMI 2.1 ports on the CX are the latest standard, which means the TV is next-gen console ready. So if you have or are planning to get either a PS5 or one of the newer Xboxes, so the Series X or S, a TV with HDMI 2.1 will give you full access to the next-gen features, which include auto low latency mode, reducing lag, and a variable refresh rate which helps to reduce blurring and screen tearing in fast-paced action. Sadly, this is still locked on the PS5, but hopefully there'll be some good news on that front by the year end. There have been a few rumours floating about, so we'll see what happens. So looking at the connections, I've already mentioned the 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, and then in addition to that, you've got all the usual ports including the coaxial antenna port, 3 USB 2.0 ports, Ethernet, an optical digital out for sound systems, and an audio jack. The TV also has Wi-Fi, Apple AirPlay 2, which I use if I want to turn the CX into a giant monitor, and it supports both Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa. LG has a range of OLED TVs released every year, with the current most affordable model being the A1 in 2021. Then you have the B1, C1, G1, R1 and Z1. So as you go through the alphabet, the TVs go up both in price and interesting features. The C1 is LG's mid-range model, the natural successor to the CX. It looks identical to the CX but does support a few changes and upgrades. Some of the key ones include the upgraded processor, which gives rise to new features such as scene and object detection. The remote has been changed with a slightly different shape and extra streaming buttons, and the operating system, which is upgraded to WebOS 6.0, giving a tweaked home screen and user interface. Another change from the CX is the Game Optimizer menu found on the C1, which lets you optimize the screen based on the gaming genre and adjust gaming specific features such as the G-Sync and FreeSync premium toggling. So my last TV was a 42-inch LG 1080 HD model, which has now been relegated to the bedroom. So for me, the CX is a massive step up in quality, design and features. I've enjoyed watching all types of content on the CX. Everything looks great, but gaming, epic. The 4K, the frame rate's going up to 60 or 120 Hz. It feels so different, so immersive. And as the CX has been out for a while now, you can find it significantly discounted, which is great because OLED TVs are not cheap. But LG does have the best value OLEDs and actually supply OLED panels to other TV makers including Sony. So in summary, if you're looking to upgrade and there's still a massive price premium with the C1, go for the CX while you still can. But if you've been waiting a while and the C1 has had a decent price drop, you'd want to go for the newer model, as they're usually supported for longer with software upgrades. And even though many of the improvements are incremental rather than large leaps, it's still going to be the best overall at the moment. Thanks for sticking with me. If you found it useful, subscribe to get updated on the next one. Have a great day. I'll see you later.